Welcome to the Late Flight Show. So we are flying today. Um, it's just I was thinking about acting and the experiences that we draw on for certain scenes, and okay, I know I laugh about it now and stuff, but I was bullied in high school like really, really badly. And like I said in I've always being committed to the craft of acting has always been me. Like I live and breathe and bleed acting. I think I was born out of the womb acting, and I think my mother wanted to be an actress. In fact, the first time I was on set, my mother was acting in an educational film for the government. We were being teachers, and I was like on set helping out, and yeah. So I feel like acting is just in me, and when I was young, I always knew that whenever I was in bad experiences, I needed to use acting to overcome them. So I was bullied really, really, really badly. Um, Disrespected, humiliated. Um, it feels like somebody vandalizes your soul. Uh, yeah, and it's just damaged. And you know, there's this great movie I was watching called The Gift, and it's about this guy that got bullied, and he says this line where he gets revenge on the bully, and he says this line where he's like, I'm gonna paraphrase, but it was like, when it's amazing it's amazing all of the sick and twisted things that other people can teach you through bullying you. And that's definitely true, because before I had that experience, I had no idea that the human psyche could go to that level. And that's when I started reading about serial killers and stuff, and trying to figure out why, because I was literally in fear of my life every single day. I used to try not go to school, and I would just, yeah, terrible. It was an emotional rape, and I realized later on that I actually reacted to it in a similar way to what rape victims would react to it, or sexual abuse victims. Because essentially, what is sexual abuse? It's people crossing boundaries, right? Personal, physical, mental, emotional boundaries in a space which is supposed to be safe, where you get dropped off every single day, and that's why I will never have children. They took that from me, because um, I can't imagine being a parent and just dropping a kid off for like 8 hours with a bunch of strangers anymore after what I went through. So yeah, it is kind of a death. It's an emotional death. So yeah, I guess I died in high school. Um, I was killed by a bunch of kids. Wow. And it's the thing with actors is people often think that we're cavalier, and that we're flighty, and we don't think about what we say, or we don't care, because we have all these emotions so ready on the surface. But it's not that. By the time we get to acting on the screen, we've been through a lot of torment and mental breakdown. Because that's what getting a character is. That's what character work is. It's a breakdown. It's a mental breakdown. You dissolve the whole and you find all the little parts it's made out of and you use those as ingredients for your performance. And what happened to me in high school was that they did that for me, I guess. They broke my psyche down, killed me, and that's when I became Charlie Manor. I mean, I even have a clipping. And, you know, you wonder why did I write all of these things? Oh, he wanted to be famous. No, it's never been about fame for me. That's what I think people don't understand. And I feel like I was talking about past lives in a previous episode. And like I said in that one, I've been famous. I don't care. For me, it's about now using the media to heal instead of and to save, because when I was in that situation of bullying, it was the media that saved me, right? That's why I'm in the business, because I believe in it. Because if it wasn't for the media, I wouldn't have been able to see different possibilities and to have an imagination and to escape and kind of split into Charlie Manor. And this is from the 21st of September 2007. And the reason I wrote these things was to keep a record for myself in time and space, so that when I come back in my next life, I can find my work, who I am. So this is a letter that I wrote in. What does it say? There, Charlie Manor, by Charlie Manor. So this is like 12 years ago. And this is what I'm saying in the letter. Auntie Catherine taught me well. If you think freedom of speech exists, think again. I am an 18-year-old schoolboy, Durban North, who was recently eschewed. Okay, I'm autistic. I use nice words, okay? Don't blame me if I use the Queen's English. Yes, I know the Queen's English is in a different accent. Eschewed for a song I recorded called Charlie Manor versus Mullethead, about an altercation I had with a fellow schoolboy. As soon as I had released it, people who had gotten hold of the lyrics claimed that I was on the verge of committing violence. Apparently, at the end of the year, I'm to blow the whole school up! Exclamation mark. Others rebuffed me because they thought the song was about them, and others because they didn't like what I had said. My posters were ripped down and vandalized most horrifically, just because I decided to channel some negative energy positively into my creativity. I am not writing this letter to defend my song, but to defend creative expression in all its forms. Would it have been better for me to sort out the boy using my fists? I really don't have time for jail, so I think I'll stick to music. Charlie Manor. Wow, I'm such a drama queen. Um, but those MFs like ruined my life. So I'm glad that I wrote a song about it instead of using violence. And you never get that narrative in today's media of black men. You just see black men doing scams or doing some weird stuff, or being like God or the the all holy one. You don't get real characters who actually have gone through life experience. And when I was being bullied at that time, I one started thinking about the human psyche and wondering what would make someone do that to another human being. Like, what is wrong with you if you think it's okay to do that to another person's kid? Because at that time you're a kid, right? And that's, if you're doing that to someone else's kid, like, That's so scary to me. It's like a predator. It's not like it is. They I was literally, I'm not even being dramatic or anything. I was literally molested by high school boys. Do you know how crazy but true that is? And do you know how sick that makes me feel? Who wants to say that? But the truth is, that's what happened. And it's insane. And I'll never have children. Like, seriously, I'm done. Like, because then I would have to be there 24/7. I'd have to watch the baby till the year 30 every single day for real, because I now know what happens when you leave children unattended. And I cannot fathom that idea. It gives me anxiety to think that I could ever be apart from my would-be child because of what a bunch of boys did. But yet here I am still channeling that, like I did back then, into creative expression. And I think people always say it gets better when kids are being bullied. No, it doesn't. If you're a kid who's being bullied, you know it doesn't get better. Don't let them lie to you. It just is what it is. It doesn't get better unless you make it better. And trust me, no one is going to save you. Do you know how many teachers watched? Literally, my registration teacher, um, Miss Dixon, would just stand there and watch. And I sat in the front of every class to be closest to the door and the teacher, so that if anything happened, it was like, okay, duh. But they just watched. And then, when I finally made Charlie Manor to stand up for myself, they went against me. The same teachers who watched. Now I was the bad guy. So it's like double bullying. And I hate saying that term because I feel like it's overused now. Oh, bully, they bullied me. But dude, when people are spitting in your hair in class, like it's a normal thing, like it's just done, not like sneaking it in, like just like openly spitting in your hair and openly touching you when you don't want to be touched in certain parts of your body. Then, despite that, I still focus on my craft, and I channeled my creativity. And after 4 years of being molested by boys, um, being molested by white boys, I, in particular, the boy that I wrote the song about, the song that I was talking about in the article, that boy whose name starts with a W and surname starts with the S. You know when people tell you about like when they were in a situation like of sexual harassment or something, and they say they looked in the person's eyes and they saw like a evil, or they saw like a dark cold, that boy had that look. Like, you know, when you think of American History X, that boy was American History X, a real life episode of American History X in my life. And despite all of that, I still saved those mother. They were being, do you know, they were being, after being like literally, this is me, right? This is me. After being killed to death by boys, not only did I come back from the dead as Charlie Manor, but I sent away a child molester at the school that they kept quiet. And under pressure, they made me keep quiet. I was about to blow the story because I was a journalist. That was my character back then. I was a journalist. That's how I nailed that character. So if you ever want me to play Deep Throat Hollywood, I've got the receipts, I've got the real life evidence, and I put away. Well, I got a child molester taken out of the. I got her to resign because of me. I did that. I saved your kids' white parents who stood by while your kids killed me. Isn't that so funny? I'm literally Jesus, reincarnated. Like, are you kidding me? They kill me and I save them. Like, are you out of your mind? Like, who am I? What the late flight show is going on here? But seriously, and then they have the nerve to dismiss the entire experience. Well, no, because I used it for my acting technique. So we can't dismiss that experience. We have to explore it as actors and, you know, as a source. I have to share these truths of what it means to be an actor in post-apartheid, to be a post-apartheid survivor actor of this world, of South Africa in 2019, in the 21st century. Because how else will you have a context of your character work in the future if you have no record of what is going on? That's why actors are not affected or flippant or vapid. We know that our emotions are a service to the world. And instead of going the devilish route and being consumed by our emotions and saying, oh, they did this to me, why me, why me? We go the angelic route, the high vibrational frequency, and we turn it into art. That's why we believe in love and innocence, and we love protecting it. Because we know what it's like for it to be taken away. So, a lot of my work does challenge white male stereotypes and the the male gaze for that reason. Because essentially that's the bully that I had to defeat. And I died that day. I literally died that day. And I came back as Charlie Manor, the actor. And Charlie Manor was able to slice It's kind of like MK Ultra. It's like your mind is like a mirror, and it's a shattered mirror, and there's different fragments of it, and each of those is where you draw from your characters. And if you zoom out, you can see the whole mirror. Like, you can see it's one mirror. It's not like crazy, but it's definitely compartmentalized. And yeah, that's a part of being an actor, being able to jump in and out of emotions. It doesn't mean that those emotions aren't any less valid. It just means that you've been there long enough, and most importantly, you're comfortable being able to say, yeah, I was molested by white boys, and not having the normal reaction of civilians who would be embarrassed to say that. And you know what? The people that I saved from being molested by the teacher, um, those people never told like their parents or anything. So it's really sad because they don't know the effect it's going to have on them, and that it has had on them. I mean, one of them is in a weird relationship, and the other one is in denial. It's just really sad. But me as an actor have to, well, I died for this. You guys killed me, right? So I might as well. So I am the one who's going to come and say it for you so that you can have catharsis, so you can heal, so you can stop being crazy and stop killing other people. That's why I'm doing this. That's what I get out of it. I'm stopping you from killing the next kid who's on his way up by showing you all the weird and freaky stuff so you can bully me and my work and not the kid. And so the kid can be like, oh, thank God. Charlie Manor will save me. Like I saved all those other kids and how I saved myself. But then, but don't get it wrong. It's not a cult. I'm not really saving you. I'm showing you to save yourself. That essentially none of it really matters. It's not real. They are all a figment of your imagination. And it doesn't get better. You make it better by using your imagination. So if you are in that situation right now and you're watching this, come be an actor. I want you to get a journal and start writing how you feel while you're being bullied. Go into that situation and start thinking, how does it taste in your mouth when you're being bullied? How does your skin feel? This is called sense memory technique. It comes in handy later on. And if you can capture those vivid experiences while they're happening, because God knows no one is going to help you. Oh, and there's more coming. Because Jesus said he'll come back. Well, he's back, baby. Jesus is back. All of y'all who died and went to heaven, and Jesus said, go back to earth and tell him I'm coming back. Well, I'm back, baby. And I'm coming for the harvest. Yeah. So, and see. I've always wanted to play that character. Like, Christopher Nolan, hit me up. Hit me up. But seriously, I'm I'm act yeah, I'm acting for you. And I'm doing this art for you. Because I feel like that's why I say acting is like the military, is the psychological, is the psyops side of the military, because we have to stop you from being a killer. And a good way to do that is to show you stuff on TV and movies so that you can overcome that. So if you are a kid going through it, write the journals, how do you feel? And then create a hero character who's going to save you. Because only you can save yourself. So create that character, give it a name, give it a backstory, just make it whatever you want it to be. And use your imagination technique, use your Stella Adler. And I mean, this is perfect opportunity to practice and be a great actor. And use the technique and then go to school and be that character and see what happens. That's how I did it. That's how I got it to stop. I invented this person and then I became it and then it stopped. It's a lot of work. It stole my life. Like, it's not my life anymore because I'm not me now. Because in my life I would never be on screen because I prefer a private life. But it's now not the case. So when I died, when they killed me, that took my life, and Charlie Manner's life is now paramount. And yeah, you kind of are pissed. I mean, they killed you, or they drove you to it. I mean, come on, I mean, it was like being in Oz, the jail series. It was literally, and it was an all boys school. And you know what boys do. Oh, it's coming. The late flight show entertainment is just getting started, honey. But yeah, just use your experiences and become an actor. Come join us in the acting world. It's magical and it gives you a second life and it keeps you alive. And no one is going to save you. You only save yourself. And I know I'm being very glib, but I mean, this is a late flight show. We are extremists here. If you've been watching since day one, you know. But it's 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 true, and that's what makes it good acting, because it's real. So draw on that. It doesn't get better, but you can make it better. Fly away, little birds.